You've seen Aileen and countless music videos, and now finally on Prime, you get to see I Am Celine Dion.
Je suis Celine Dion. This is a documentary about the French-Canadian chanteuse. It is streaming now on Prime Video, and I was shocked at how intense this is. You gotta subscribe if you have not yet, because it is the summer, and we are full of blockbusters for you, of course, but we'll always do a documentary like this when it comes out, and we love talking about every kind of film, but documentaries for sure are among our favorites, so come check it out and hang out with us. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers by the end of the summer, and we're super close, you guys. We're like inches away. So if you have not already signed up to be a part of things around here, we would love it.
It's not hard to do a show, you know. It's hard to cancel a show. I'm working hard every day.
So this is from director Irene Taylor. She's an Oscar nominee for a documentary short. She spent a lot of time in very personal, close situations with Celine Dion. The access here is incredible, and it documents how she has dealt with this really rare neurological disorder that she's been suffering from called stiff person syndrome, and it afflicts literally 1 in a million people. It is that rare. And we see that really she's been suffering for a good 17 years.
Yeah.
And one of the fascinating parts of this film is the way that she's such a pro, and she cares so much about giving the audience her all, that she sort of pulls back the curtain on the tricks and the cheats that she has used to hide this disorder for a long, long time. And that's just heartbreaking, you know, but she's been a performer her entire life, and her mom drilled into her from her earliest days, like the show must go on. And that has been the driving force here for her. So we're with her as she is slowing down, not performing as much, and then making this very tearful announcement that she has this condition and that she's going to have to cancel shows and cancel tours. And you see how deeply it affects her. But then it goes to places I did not expect in terms of really letting us see how difficult this is for her. They warn you off the top. There is a title card saying there's some pretty intense medical situations here, just FYI, and they come much later. But leading up to that, it's just an intimate look at what her life is like. And they do a good job of balancing like the quickest biopic bullet points, right?
Sure.
Like how she came up, and Renee and her kids and the Vegas residency, but also like the day to day. So yeah, it's all that. So one of my favorite parts, of course, because I am me, is watching her go through her meticulously labeled warehouse of costumes and shoes.
Yes.
It's amazing. And you realize, like, oh, right, she can't wear these things more than once because she gets photographed, but she loves clothes and she loves shoes. Her shoe closet is insane. In her home is insane. My favorite parts of the whole thing is that she shows how she has this beautifully, jeweled and embroidered blazer that's very snug on her. But she also has to wear like a white shirt underneath it, but she can't pull the sleeves all the way through because it won't fit right. It won't hang right. And so she's showing us how like there's just a little shirt, like a little sleeveless shirt, looks like a dress shirt. And then inside the cuff are these like snappy little like cuffs that like attach to the inside.
There's no sleeve. It's a sleeveless top, but then little cuff snappies at the bottom, which is actually how men's tuxedo shirts used to work. You would have the celluloid cuffs and the celluloid collar, and then the shirt under them, because that's, I think, speaking from experience, my collars is where my shirts get gross first. And so like the idea that you would wear it once and throw it away, I think was, not a bad idea.
But I love the detail of that, but also it says so much about her and her level of care and her eye for detail, that this little thing that the vast majority of her audiences won't even notice. She wants that crisp, elegant pop of white of the sleeve peeking out from beneath the jacket.
Right.
No one's going to notice that. But she does. And that translates into every step of the way in terms of how she deals with her care and her audience. And I thought it was a very revealing moment in a small way. So I thought this was really good.
Yeah. I was maybe a little less surprised about how forthcoming it was, partially because I had seen the Hoda Kotb interview, but partially because I think I'm with you. I'm not like a big fan of Celine's music, but I think she is fascinating. And I think one of the things that's so great about her is how disinterested she has always been in being cool. like she will be dorky, you know, the air guitar on stage when she sang, you know, you should be like, yeah, the faces, the mugging, like she's a goof and like leans into it and owns it. And so she's not somebody who you feel like that whatever you get from her has been super filtered and like approved, and she's just out there living her life and doing her thing. So now that she's dealing with this medical nightmare that is preventing her from doing the thing that she loves the most and doing a documentary about it, I wasn't surprised how unfiltered she was willing to be about that as well. Like you see her, no makeup, bags under the eyes, like dude, she's just giving it to you and doesn't, you know, she's that's not what's important. What's important is sort of expressing the pain that she feels, not just physically, but that she can't do this thing that she's done her entire life so brilliantly, and she can't give her fans what they want, which is getting to come see her live and all of that. And so it's very raw emotionally, and it doesn't, you know, we constantly are complaining about these documentaries that feel like extended press releases and that it's all very managed and it's all very like, we're going to talk about this, but not that. Like she's just putting it all out there. And so I really admire her openness to do that. Obviously, are there things we're not seeing? Of course. Like, of course, there's editing involved, and her being like, yeah, I don't want to. But it feels very forthcoming in a way, and very frank in a way that we don't often get from movies like this. This movie is of a piece of her being like, here it is, you know, here's my stuff, and so yeah, I find it really fascinating. So again, even if you aren't a Dion fan, I think this movie is really revealing about just what she's going through right now.
Right. And the fact that this is the thing she loves deeply and she is better at than the vast majority of people in the world, like one of the great voices ever, and that she can't do that. And you see her trying to get back into the studio. And because there is that perfectionism to her, there is a demand for excellence. Like you see how frustrated she gets, and that's heartbreaking all over again. It's interesting too, in contrast with another documentary that's out on Prime Video right now about Roger Federer called Federer 12 Final Days, where he also is recording his farewell announcement. He's announcing that he is retiring from tennis, and it follows him for like this last tournament he does with like Rafael Nadal and like Bjorn Borg is there, like all the greats. And Asta Kapadia directed it, who also did Amy and did Senna. And it also gets this incredible access like I Am Celine Dion has, but it's like elegant and cool and polished and feels like you're never really truly seeing inside, you know, you're hanging out in the locker room with him and all these tennis greats, you're in the car with him, you're with him and his family, but there's a level of detachment within that access. And here you're up close and personal at her darkest moments of suffering, which I did not think was self-indulgent at all. Quite the contrary. I found it very generous.
Yeah, it is this, you almost get the feeling like she's making this film of like, I need my fans to know that I'm not just like, you know, ignoring them or trying to like, you know, take time off. Like she has this work ethic and she can't fulfill that work ethic. And so she's going to tell you why.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. And I also enjoyed her walking through her pantry, her meticulously organized pantry. She pulls open a drawer and there's every color of Sharpie and highlighter like perfectly lined up. I'm like,
oh, that
spoke to me.
That sock drawer early on, like
all her cozy socks.
Yeah, is she a Virgo? Do we know?
No, but it makes sense anyway. So, what is your number then on I Am Celine Dion?
7.9. I think it is far deeper and darker than it has to be, but you know, I think it is just it does the thing that we complain that pop music documentaries don't do nearly often enough.
Yeah, I'll say 8.5. So I Am Celine Dion on Prime Video now.